Hello people, and welcome to this little tutorial. So this one is actually going to be directed at all of you beginners out there, because I've received a message today from somebody that only trained probably a month or 2 months ago, and they were just feeling a little bit of despair because they just feel like they're really behind. And because of the groups in which I run, and I do, teach advanced techniques, and I think sometimes people assume that they should be doing these advanced techniques and that everybody out there is doing it, and it's not the case. So I just wanted to do this tutorial for all those beginners, and I want to say that you need to take this slowly, okay? So we're going to do a bit of a comparison here. So those of you that can drive a car, do you remember when you first got in a car, what the driving instructor made you do? He probably made you drive down the road, okay? And you probably practiced that for a good couple of months before you did any further. He didn't get you on the motorway, he didn't get you double declutching and, watching the revs and flying along at 80 miles an hour on the motorway, doing overtakes and all of that. He didn't do that, or she didn't do that, I should say, because you have to learn your craft and you have to take it slowly. So this is what I'm going to teach you as a beginner, okay? And I'm going to teach you the basics, and this is what you need to do. So I'm not the biggest fan of practice heads for beginners, but they do have their place, because as a beginner you need to understand how to hold your tweezers. Nail technicians, etc., every little girl painted nails when they were small. So holding a bottle of nail polish and painting somebody's hands is actually relatively easy in comparison to this, because we all did it. Now what we're asking you to do is to take 2 pairs of super sharp tweezers, okay, and start working with both hands, your strong hand and your weak hand, and start putting tiny, tiny little lashes on top of tiny, tiny natural lashes, okay? Well, you're never going to have done anything as a child or anything in your life that is actually going to mimic what we're going to do here. So you've got to understand that, and that also means that we are so specialist at what we do because of that, okay? So what I need you to understand is take it slow. Don't worry about eye styling, about zoning the eye, within your first year or two, within your lash career. That comes later. I didn't start worrying about eye styling and all of that at least 2 years into my career, because until then I was still perfecting my craft. I was still learning what curls to use, what thickness, and even then I didn't know. I just used the same thickness, 0.2, and I did the same design. Is there a problem with that? No, there isn't, because until then I had to learn how to do that before I could advance and do anything else. So if you are new, do not worry. Just keep doing the same thing over and over again on your clients, and don't complicate it. So actually what I'm going to show you here is how to keep things very, very simple for your first year or 2 in your career. And all you need is 2 different types of lashes, okay? And I'm saying this to keep it really simple. Some people might say, oh God, no, you need to have lots of different curls and thicknesses to accommodate every client. Realistically, no, you don't, okay? Buy yourself C curl in 0.15 and B curl in 0.12. And the reason I'm saying this, and I'm saying this to keep really simple, is that most people that can support a C curl are going to be probably your younger clientele that have got okay lashes and want a bit more glamour on them, okay? So your C curl is going to do absolutely fine in a 0.15 because most people can support that week after week with no problems whatsoever. Then buy yourself a B curl in 0.12, because a 0.12 thickness is a lovely thickness of lash that it's light enough a weight for clients that don't have a good set of lashes, but it's also thick enough to give the dramatic look they want. If you try and use a 0.1, which is designed as a volume lash, so it's designed to be used in multiples, and you just put one of those onto a very fine natural lash, it won't give the clients the desired look, okay? So this is why we have a 0.12. And the reason I have it in a B curl is because most of your clients that are going to have a 0.12 are going to be the older clients, let's say over the age of 40, 45, because your lashes and your hair will start to thin out at that age, okay? So if you buy a B curl, you know that this is going to be firstly used on your older clients. And what happens to us when we get a little bit older in our eyes? We start to get eyes that droop and we start to get hoods, okay? And we need the B curl to extend out underneath the hood to get away from the eye, whereas a C curl can get caught underneath the hood. So this is keeping it very, very simple, and these 2 curls will work on most people. If you're an advanced lash technician, yes, you can start having L curls and C curls and D curls and B curls and lashes in 0.07, 0.1, 0.12, 0.15, possibly a 0.18. But that's going to blow your mind as a beginner. So don't even go there, because you're going to set yourself up for a fail. So just get this, okay, and just work with this. Don't worry about eye styling, that's going to blow your mind. What you want to do is do a natural effect on most people, which is what I've drawn here on my mannequin head, and I'm going to show you, okay? So I'm going to turn that towards you, and I don't know if you can see, but most of your clients are going to be having this on them, okay? They're going to be having an 8mm, a 9, a 10, 11 possibly maximum length, a 10 and a 9 towards the outer corner, okay? But you can chop and change this. You know, you might get a client that's got super short lashes and she might only be able to have a 7, 8, 9, 10, 9 and an 8, okay? Your longest length wants to be towards this zone here, okay? Your zones don't need to be even. Normally my longest length will be the biggest zone that will sit over the middle here. And obviously my shorter ones will be in the inner corner, because if you look at your natural lashes, your inner corners will be very short. And if you look at your outer corners will be very short. So we're just mimicking what the natural lash does. And all you've got to do is look at that client's natural lashes and follow what they do and lash like 1 to 2 millimeters longer, or if they want a natural effect, or 3 to 4 millimeters longer than the natural lash if they want a dramatic effect. But what you want to aim to be doing is doing pretty much the same set on every single client. It doesn't matter at the moment because you're just learning your craft. And then when you get better, you can start specialising in eye styling and start custom creating sets to suit clients. But at this stage, don't worry. So just go by this guide all the time. I've got a zone here, in a corner. I've got a zone here, a zone here. My main zone sort of over the pupil towards the outer corner. And then another 2 zones to keep the length shorter. That is all you need to do. Always draw your lash lengths on your pad on both eyes so that you know it's going to be symmetrical, and follow that. It is as simple as that, ladies, okay? Don't overcomplicate this journey that you're on, because you will set yourself up for a fail. You know, keep this easy, you know, keep it very, very simple, and just work and work on perfecting your craft, and then it will come, okay? If you haven't got real clients to work on, get on your mannequin head in the evening, just because it teaches you how to hold your tweezers properly, it teaches you how to dip your glue, and it teaches you how to place the lashes on. Unfortunately, most of our clients will not have lovely straight lashes like these mannequin heads have, but as long as you can hold your tweezers properly and pick up your lash nicely, which again is very, very difficult when you're a beginner, and as long as you can come into the lash nicely and work on your isolation, when it then comes to working on a client, it's going to be a little bit easier as if you do nothing. So although I'm not the biggest fan of a mannequin head, definitely have one and just practice on them, because it will teach you just to work ambidextrously with your tweezers and how to get an extension onto the natural lash, okay? So ladies, be kind to yourself as beginners. We're not all born awesome. We don't all step into a car on our first driving lesson and could pass our test, and it's exactly the same as lashing, okay? So be kind to yourself. And just know that one day, if you keep practicing, like everything in life, you will become very, very good at it.